Good afternoon, student, for today's second season of SAP with Nagraj sir. Nagraj sir, you can proceed with your class.
Thank you, Kunal. You are able to see my Excel sheet, Kunal?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Perfect. So before we took a lunch break, we were looking at what is a concept of a recurring entry. Nothing but entries which occur on a periodical basis at a frequent time interval. Every 10 days, every 15 days, every month. Okay. So you can actually time this entries. So the first thing what we did, we understood, we created something called as GM1N. So we mentioned the run dates also. That is when the system should execute. Then we enter the template. So we enter the GL accounts debit and credit. Then we execute it. So how did we execute? We executed this in two modes. One is in the background mode where the system did not allow you to make changes in the entry. The other form was you could change the contents of the template for that particular month in our case by executing this program in the foreground. So this was essentially the difference. Foreground where you could edit, not editable, editable. So you could see the session SAPF was SAPF 120 was getting created. At the successful execution of the program, you could see that there was a successful message from SAP side saying that the necessary session was created. This is about your recurring entries. So I think you can read the documentation. There is a documentation uh, provided for you people as far as your recurring entries is concerned. Interesting, but there is only one slide, I think. There is only one slide, I guess. Just hold on. So we saw the foreign currency valuation. So we saw the balance confirmations, foreign currency. So we saw this valuation area. I told you that how Why did we see that recurring entries? Okay, we saw it in the AP process. Just hold on. Accounts payable business process. So we saw all this vendor account. This was one of the other important component of your, I would not say necessarily the AP process, but it was good. See, this is the recurring entry program. So this is the only screen what is visibility. So we saw that first, as you can see, he has not shown you the SPRO side of it. He has not shown you the consultant side. Not required. So that is the only one screen as far as your recurring entry is concerned. Now, in addition to this, there is something called as your another way you, what did we do in recurring entry? We simply created a template. So is there any other methodology where you could create a template? I am referring to this because somebody in the very initial session asked me about the account assignment model. I still remember that question. So just let me tell you what is this account assignment model. Very simple. I'll take not more than 5 minutes. I don't know if it is referred to in your study content. I'm not very sure. But anyway, since somebody has asked, I will just quickly go through that. What was it supposed to do? Your account assignment model. So where is this actually done? It is also done in your SPRO. So in the same place where you could see the recurring entries, you would see the account assignment model also. Where is the recurring entries? Can you see that there are account assignment models? So actually you cannot do anything here. All you will have to do is go to the end user screen. Here again, what are you trying to do? You are simply trying to create a template. Financial accounting, general ledger, document entry, reference documents. So we saw FBD1 where I entered that entry, debits and credits. Now you see FKMT. I think I have already created one. No. Oh, let me see what are the. Oh, not created, is it? Okay, let me create one account assignment model. It doesn't take much time. And no reference also because there is no other INR. GM00. Enter. Go to this place. Just say enter. Okay. Now we're here. Line items. So you're entering the debits and the credits. Okay. Posting key is 40. Company code is GM01. GL account is 4,30,000. I can assign the cost center also, but since I have not touched upon the costing module, I'm simply staying quiet. 65 lakhs. And I enter another 40. For 12,50,000. I'll enter one more. say some. Okay, I'll credit this. And I would say a star here. Okay, now I'll save this. Account assignment model was saved in the name. What was the name? GM01. Can you see? GM01. Come back. Now, how will it help me out? I'll go to F-02 or I'll go to more. Okay, let me just go to the document. Okay. Don't worry. So I give the document. Can you see the account model out here? So you are familiar with F-02, right? Account model. I'll enter GM01. So you can see the entry already coming in. As usual, I can make use of this and post. So this is how it helps me. Clear? Your account assignment model helps me in this way. Did you understand? So if I want to post this document, I can peacefully post this document and it will get posted. Not a problem. Clear? So this is another example of you creating your templates and recalling them so that it can help you to lessen the burden of your data entry. So did you see how it reduced my effort? Clear? So this is how my account assignment model helps. So we have also seen something called as an, in addition to your account assignment, account assignment model, FKMD. Yeah. Did you understand how it works? So the way I interacted with the recurring entries was different, and the way I interacted with the account assignment model was different. Clear so far? Okay. Do I see any questions? Let me just have a look at the Q&A because since morning I have not seen. So I don't think there is nothing for me. All right. Now, let us move on to the very interesting module also called as your or CO mode. So please remember that whenever you are getting into the finance side of SAP, it goes without saying that you are supposed to be knowing the controlling side of SAP also. You are never an FI person. You are always an FICO person. All right. Whether, I mean, as far as a consultant is concerned, but the end users, I don't know. He could be simply getting into the controlling side of the management accounting reports of SAP. Now, so how did our finance module start? Our finance module started with the basic creation of a company code. And I said, whatever other entities the other modules also create, they are necessarily created by taking the company code as the base. You will see a similar thing happening in the controlling module also. And please make a note that your controlling module doesn't control anything. I'm making the statement. I don't know how relevant or irrelevant this statement is, because when I was just handling another set of people in one of the reputed organizations, when the question was asked as to what is controlling, what do you understand by the controlling module? Somebody said controlling of what? They said controlling of costs. Can you ever control costs? Right? So the costing, I hope you got the answer. I don't have to answer that question. So the cost will invariably occur. Whether you want it or you don't want it, the cost will immaterial of your likes and dislikes, it will happen. Can you control it? Controlling module involves how best you can make use of your organizational resources to increase the productivity and to get the relevant decision-making reports. That is exactly why your CO module is there. It is for not controlling. As the name suggests, it does not control anything. Clear? Now, just hold on. Now, what do we achieve in the controlling module? The first and the foremost thing, your controlling module starts with the creation of something called as I think by this time you probably you would have heard about this this entity called as controlling area. Where did we get to know this? When we discussed the org structure, your organizational structure as far as your finance module is concerned. Where is that? Can you see this? Management accounting module. So when you're talking about, or when the client, when the customer decides that he has to implement the CO module also, then and only then you have the concept of controlling area. Until then, there is no necessity for the consultant to create a controlling area. Not required. Clear? Now, let us straight away get into the topic. Same thing you will see in the receivable business process also. We saw that. Okay. Asset accounting, we'll take it up tomorrow. As soon as we finish the controlling, we will see that. Financial statement, I will just come to that. Very simple. Controlling organizational structure. Maintain the organizational units in CO module, controlling module. Customize the controlling area. Understand the prerequisites for creating a controlling area and connecting it to your company code. Maintain the organizational elements or organizational entities which you create in your CO module. Clear? What do we understand? This is the objective. Now, what do we see within this particular topic? So you will see that basically your controlling module is broken up into just like you had your AR, AP, GL asset accounting in your FI, you have something very similar to your controlling area submodules also. One is your cost and profitability analysis module. Okay. You have your material ledger. Just hold on. Okay. So basically you may be having something more. People may call it as your overhead analysis or whatever. So what are the basic entities that you create here? What is COPA? I have already written. Cost and profitability analysis. You saw some entity called as your operating concern. Okay. So this entity, your operating concern, comes into picture only when you have the COPA module, or else you will not have this particular entity. Okay. And you can also add one more if you want. Product costing. Okay. You can also include product costing and material ledgers, which are very, very in-depth conceptually. Okay. So this particular CO module probably is a little more complex than your finance module simply because the entries, the financial impact or the financial transactions, they enter into the CO module. They are entering into the CO module without even you knowing about it because of the setting of the CO area. Okay, just hold on. So you have an integration with your FI, HR, MM, PP, SD, your project systems. Okay, so like this, you will have the controlling area talking to your FI module, talking to your SD module, MM module, PP module, your HR module, your project systems module. Okay, so that's exactly what it makes it give you a feel that it is complex. Clear? But an in-depth subject, I don't know, I'm going to cover it in maybe say maybe say tomorrow or something. But you will see this discussion can go on forever and it will never complete, because the way you're setting up the controlling area, once you have done the settings, nothing can be erased. Even if it can be erased or deleted, it is very, very difficult, because the connections are so many that you will not be in a position to even get back to the source. Clear? And this module is very, very sensitive, because as you said, there are many modules talking to the CO module. OK, and you can see that obviously there could be some complexities. OK. As I said, the first and the foremost creation of your CO in your CO module is the controlling area. Where does it start? You cannot even see this in your easy access, because the creation of the controlling area is the job of a consultant. Probably in your projects, you may have a CO specialist also, a person who is specialized in the CO module. And that is, if the project can really afford a specialist, they can definitely have a CO specialist. But normally, the responsibility of picking up the CO module is on the FI person, the FI consultant. SPRO. So as you saw, the creation of the company code is also done by a consultant. And you saw that getting created in the IMG screen. Controlling. So we have jumped from your FI, your AR and AP to control. General controlling, organization, maintain controlling area. So this is how the consultant creates the CO area. Execute. Now I will not create. I will just go to maintenance and show you the controlling area, what I have created. I think I had created GM01. See, CO area GM01. Now you saw the screen, right? You saw the screen. Where do you see this? Highlight, select this, go to, or double click here. You can see the same screen, what is being displayed in your study content. Clear? You can see the same currency type, currency. Can you see this? Controlling area, description, owner. All right. Now, this controlling area is getting assigned to the company code. So how many company codes can you see? Your GM01 company code is talking to GM01 controlling area. This is the connection. You can also connect your GM02 to GM01 control. What is GM02? It's another company code. Let me assume that it is a sister concern. Clear? Your sister concern is your GM02 is also talking to your GM01 CO area. Go to new entries and you can assign your company. Clear? So necessarily the statement what I wanted to make or conclude is one company code can necessarily have only one controlling area, but one controlling area can have n number of company codes. Just like your head office and your branch assignment. One head office can have n number of branches and company codes rather, but one company code can only have one parent concern. That is your head office. Clear? The same relationship holds good to your CO area also. Clear? On what conditions or on what parameters are you linking the company code and your controlling area? It is through your chart of accounts and your fiscal year variant. Necessarily as the basic requirement. All right. You need to, your controlling area and your company code must be talking to the same chart of accounts, your operational chart of accounts and your fiscal year. You saw some prerequisites, right? In your, even before you saw this, in the summary, you saw the prerequisites. Understand the prerequisites for assigning a company code to a controlling area. The third point. That is exactly what I'm trying to reach out to you. Clear? Now, under the controlling area, what are the components that you want to activate? You can see activate components. What is this components? I'll double click. I've selected GM01 controlling area. Now you can see what is the nature of my controlling area, what it allows and what it does not allow. Does it allow for the cost center accounting? It does. Does it allow for internal order management? What is internal order? We don't know. OK, now we are assuming that we have not yet reached the internal orders and there is no topic called as internal orders in your study content. So you have the profitability analysis module? No, you don't. So I'm only having this cost centers. Clear? Now what is a cost center? What do I understand by the first component? Let me go to the Excel sheet. You can also include internal orders. Very interesting, but beyond the preview of our learning. But somewhere I'm going to touch this internal orders. OK, not to worry. When we are talking about asset accounting, we are going to talk about internal orders, but very, very brief. Not more than 2 or 3 minutes. I'm just going to show you where the internal orders are and how they are practically used in SAP. OK. OK, let me go back to my SAP screen. All right, now we saw how we control the behavior of our CO area by keeping certain indicators active and also having a relationship to the controlling area. Clear? Now, just like you had your number ranges for your FI documents, you have the concept of number ranges for your CO related documents also. Clear? So what is the difference? So in your FI document number ranges, you didn't see something like this, some groups or something like that. Correct? Now you have a concept of your groups. Just like you had your document types, can you see on your left side? Can you see the nature of transactions? Let me say if I select or if I activate KUUS, what does it say? Calculate scrap. Whether whether I activate or deactivate KEKB, whether I activate the unit costing or keep it suppressed. But for my understanding, all these are SAP predefined. Please make a note. Can you see this? So many concepts, so many concepts. That's why I said it's a huge, huge, huge learning. But for our FI and to understand how the FI module talks to the CO module, we have this particular group COIN predefined in SAP standard definition, CO through postings from FI. So this needs to be activated. So even before we talk about any transactions in FI, you should also ensure that this particular, I would say, let me keep it as a document type in the CO. This should be necessarily activated. Can you say non-assigned? All these are non-assigned, but when it comes to, see, it is assigned. Okay. Now, this is about your simple explanation as regards your CO area. Now, how does SAP talk to the CO module? SAP FI. How does the finance module start talking to the CO module? Through your GL accounts. How else? It is through your general ledger accounts that your FI module talks to your CO module. Let me also make a note of that. What kind of GL accounts? So now we saw transactions through so many general ledger accounts. Now, for the CO area or for the controlling area to take in the transactions, is there any necessary predefinition for a GL account? Now, for the CO area to take in the finance transactions, the GL accounts must be necessarily defined as cost elements. So if at all you want to talk to this CO module, you will have to define your simple general ledger account as a cost element. Clear? Two kinds of cost elements. Probably you would have studied all this in your primary. Primary cost elements, secondary cost elements. So what is the difference between primary and secondary? Suppose some cost, and these are necessarily your P&L accounts. Your cost elements, normally your profit and loss accounts, they are classified as your primary cost elements. What is a differentiation between your primary cost elements and your secondary cost elements? Your primary cost elements are those which can be identified to a specific department. For example, your direct costs, what you call as direct costs in your normal accounting terminology, costs which can be identified to a direct department. That is referred to as your primary cost elements. What could be the example of your secondary cost elements? Opposite, which cannot be identified to a specific department. For what could be the examples? For example, your electricity bill. Let us say you get a bill for 10,000 rupees for your organization. Can you say this particular department has spent 1,000 rupees and this particular department has consumed 500 rupees of electricity? You can, but a lot cumbersome. Probably in your textbooks, you would have say different plug points and you can identify. So this is a typical example for your primary cost elements and your secondary cost elements. So basically for your FI module to talk to your CO module, your profit and loss, your GL accounts of the nature P&L, your P&L general ledger accounts must be defined as cost elements, primary cost elements in SAP. Who defines this? Obviously the consultant. Now you can see where does it define? Now you can also define this in controlling. You can also see that some of the things can be defined in your easy access also. OK, just like you could define your GL account even in your easy access. OK, you could also define the cost elements, your cost centers in your, but cost centers is a different thing. Let me come back to cost centers a little later. Now I'll give you an example. Just let me go through this. OK, I'll simply go to the document entry. All right. I mean FB01. I mean FB50. GL account. So you saw. This was very simple, right? Very simple. 4,30,000 requires an assignment to a CO object. Why do you think it is asking for a CO object? Because if you see how this particular GL account was created, this also may not give you a clue. Clear? This also may not give you a clue as to why this is behaving like this. Understood? Now, if you go to the controlling, cost element accounting, master data, cost element, individual processing, display, see, create. Short text, I would say CE, because I would have started all the general ledger accounts with CE. Okay, cost element, indicating that it is a cost element. Just hold on. This is defined as a cost element. Can you see this? Let me not get into the cost element category, because see, this cost element category defines the behavior of the cost element, the purposes of using this cost element. Let me not get into it deeper. Let me just go to F1. Number identifying cost element category. Let me click on this. Material cost, settlement cost, cost elements. So it all depends on how you want to, for what purpose you want to make use of this. For example, you can see the cost element category that has a drop down predefined by SAP. Primary cost, cost reducing revenues, accrual deferral revenues. So it depends on for what purpose. Let me not start explaining all this, not required. So now we have the proof saying that this is defined as a cost element. If I use any other general ledger account, let me say, see, this will not ask, though it is an expense account, though it is of the nature P&L, see, it will not ask you because see, it has got converted into green and it will allow me to post because this is not, this GL account is not defined as a cost element. Yeah. Now, if I want to execute the same behavior, let me just check long text. If I take this up, 416310, I will take up this 416310. Now see the behavior. 416310. Okay, I have defined it as a cost element. You can see the definition. That is just for my understanding. 416310 requires an assignment to a CO object. Now, how do I satisfy this in my essay? I would preferably give this as a cost center. Now see, SAP is happy because since this is being defined, this GL account has been defined as a cost element. Now it is the owner. This particular cost center is the owner for this particular expense. The 20,000 rupees has got expended on this particular department, on this particular cost center. That is the meaning. Here. See, 75,000, 75,000. So did you necessarily see how the system behaves? If the GL account is defined as a cost element, you will see how this is being done. Clear? So this is how you push all your financial entries to your CO module. This is your first and the foremost requirement. So whichever GL accounts you want to transact with and you want to pass it on to your CO module, you need to necessarily define them as your cost elements. So where do you see the definition? I'm not going to post this. You saw the behavior, right? It'll happily accept. If I say it'll have to happily accept, not a problem. See, I can post it. See, it was posted. Now, if I go and see the report, if I go and see the document, FB03. Is there a cost center here? See the cost center. For which account? Cost element water charges. Clear? So this is how SAP behaves. But say for the same thing, it doesn't have a cost center. Where is the cost center? Cost center is not there. Okay, I'll bring in the cost center, not a. So from where do I bring in the cost center? Choose layout, change layout. Where is the cost center? I'll go and search for the cost center. Cost center. Push this. Where will you push this? Okay, can push it wherever. Okay. Sender cost center. No, there is some other thing. Let me just check. Brooklyn. Cost center. I'll just push it here. Where should I push? I'll push it back. I don't want this. Okay. So this. Can you see the cost center reflecting only for this GL account 416310? Because I have defined this as a cost element. So this has no reference because this is not being defined as a cost element. Sorry. This is typically how your system behaves if you have created the general ledger account, your P&L nature general ledger accounts as a cost element. Yeah. Now, we said the owner department was identified. Okay, let me take up a few questions for 2 or 3 minutes, if at all there are any questions. Oh, no questions. Clear? Please take 2 minutes, understand whatever has happened, come back to me with questions. If you want me to show any specific topic, please tell me. I will revisit that. Okay. Just take 2 to 3 minutes. How are you finding the topic? Yes, if I can accept your answers as confusing, complicated, I agree with all your answers. It is also because you are yet to spend some time on the system. But conceptually are the things getting in to your system. That is what I wanted to understand. Because these things are very, because you're going to be qualified CMAs, all right? And lots will be expected because you will be professionals, all right? So may not be from the SAP perspective, you need not have a consultant's view of the SAP, but till now, whatever the scope of this particular course is concerned, are you okay with understanding the concepts and the working? Are you feeling it quite comfortable? See, the conceptually also, especially when it comes to topics like CO, it is a little challenging. I do agree. Okay, so it is, see, consultants with a couple of months or even a year's experience in CO, they themselves will find it a lot very challenging when it comes to resolving issues of the client, practical issues of the client. But at least from the, see, the CO module can be discussed endlessly. It can be discussed endlessly. Please take it from me. It is never ending, right? But our purpose is not from the consultant's perspective. Okay, it is just for you to work as a end user and to understand the concepts. See, any topic you take, I have always taken you to the consultant screen. Do you agree with me? I've always taken you to the consultant screen and show you how the things are done. All right. So basically, how comfortable are you in understanding in understanding the topics conceptual? You can come out with your answers, not a problem. Aging report. Okay. So what is just before we take a longer break, let me just finish with this question. Aging reports. Aging reports are nothing but, where is that? How old are your debtors? In the sense, for how long the customer has not made a payment. Let me say he had an invoice. He had an outstanding of 1 lakh rupees. His sundry debtors figure showed me 1 lakh rupees. Clear? For how long, even after the overdue time has occurred, even though the invoices are overdue, he has still not made a payment. So for how long is he liable to pay? Is it beyond 100 days? Is it beyond 120 days? Is this particular sale to be converted as a bad debt? These are the decisions based on this aging report. If you want me to show you the aging report, I think it's worth a revisit. Accounting. So relog in again. I will relog in, show you this report, and then we will break. Okay. Very, very important as far as your AR module is concerned. Okay. Very, very important. The aging reports. So aging reports is basically for your AR information system. Reports for AR accounting. Customer balances. Let me go to customer items, open items. So open item, S underscore ALR underscore. So see, is it between 0 to 20 days? Is it between 20 to 40 days? Is it between 40 to 80 days? Is it between 80 to 100 days that is pending for payment? Yeah, this is your aging report. Normally we call this as buckets. These things what you saw, and it can be changed according to the business requirements. You can change it. If at all you want to make it as 40, you can make it as 40. $50, $80, $100, $150. So based on whatever you want, you can do it. All right. But you are happy with the SAP standards, you can be done with that also. Not a problem. Clear? So if you want me to show this report also, I can show it to you. Not a problem. Okay, I'll retain the same SAP standards. I'll retain. I will show you. I will show you the customer's balance. All right. So for this customer, okay, as of 20th, as of today, okay. So Mrs. Costner Limited has got an outstanding of 9,45,000 rupees, ranging in this bucket. So the invoices for 9,45,000 rupees were falling under the 1 to 20 days bucket. Okay, because they are extracting the report as of today. Now let me extract this report as of 30th of June. Now you will see it has gone from 1 to 20 to 41 to 80. Clear? You saw. So now it is an indicator for you telling that for how many days the customer is due for making the payment. Here, this is your aging report. That's it. I hope it was clear. All right. Just one more minute and we'll take a break. Kunal, I think we can have a brief break of 5 minutes. So we'll reassemble by 3:15. Okay, a small 5-minute break so that you can gather your thoughts and aging report in Excel format. Let's try doing it. We'll come back after the break and see it. Okay, whether we can do that in Excel.
So I have posted the questions in Q&A. At the end,
Yeah,
you
Kunal.
can check it out once. Only 3
Sure.
questions till now they have asked.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Kunal. You have almost answered the question. How to download the aging report into Excel. Let me try doing it. Of course, I don't remember having done it in the practical. Let us see. For the new requirement, let me just check. There is definitely an option as a local file. You can do it. You can convert it into these formats and then convert it into Excel. Probably I would convert it as text with tabs, or I would pick up unconverted and then go and save and extract that particular format into Excel. All right. So we have answered with the whether we can, is it possible for the aging reports to be downloaded onto any other third party tool. The second question which I saw, please explain the cost center. Please wait, I have still not come to the cost center at all. I'm still in the cost element stage. I have still not went about discussing the cost center at all. Clear? Now, typically, let me begin the session. So now we have understood how the finance module, or what are the prerequisites that you must take for the finance module to start talking to the CO module. Yeah, so definition of a GL account, your P&L nature general ledger account as a primary cost element is essential. Secondary cost element, it is something else where we'll have to discuss different processes, distribution, assessment. Let's not get into it. Clear? Now, what else do we have as far as your study content is concerned? See, just go through the demo. Hardly a few slides. Your consultant assigned to the controlling area 1000. A set of have been made. Just see. I went to execute. I went to IMG straight away. Clear? So we went into this option. You saw me entering into this option. So normally you also have a standard company code, a standard controlling area indicated by 0001. As you saw, your company code is 0001, your controlling area is 0001, and you also saw your posting period variance to be 0001, your field status variant to be 0001. Again, you would also have probably your operating concern also being defined as 0001. So can you see everything is uniform? Your naming convention is always uniform. Okay, this is what SAP expects from the consultant. You cannot have company code as 0001, have controlling area 0002, then have operating concern as 0003. It absolutely makes no sense. Lot of things which are haphazard, not uniform. So SAP doesn't want all that indiscipline to be shown. So it has maintained a regular 0001 for all its entities. For all its standard entities, it has, as I said, your chart of accounts and your operational chart of accounts and your fiscal year variant. They are the parameters on which you are connecting your company code to your controlling area. So we also saw this activating components. So whether the cost centers, okay. Note that more than 70 company codes are assigned to CO area 1000. So I also showed you the place where you can assign a company code to the CO area. But of course, this is all a job of a consultant. Don't worry. So I'll explain what is this cross company code controlling. Okay. So just like you have your transactions between the sister concerns, you can also have the controlling area talking between two sister concerns, having the transactions between two sister concerns. And how will you enable them or disable them? You enable or disable them by just hold on. I'll open another session. Go to my consultant screen. Go to controlling, general controlling, organization, maintain controlling. This is your default CO area or the standard CO area, just like you had the standard company. Here I can, if I have the concept of your sister concerns having transactions between themselves, you have this. Else, controlling area same as company. If you have a situation where your sister concerns, they do not have any transactions between them, you can set up this particular link. But since we are assuming a scenario where your GM01 and your GM02, they have a connection with your controlling area GM01, or more than one company code is assigned to GM01. You saw this, right? Now in this case, only GM01 is assigned. In a concept where you have more than one controlling area assigned to you are or one more than more than one company code assigned to one controlling area, you can have this. No problem. But this is the meaning. If you want to read it, you can just read it. Not a problem. If you choose the assignment cross company cost accounting, you can assign more than one company code to the controlling area. And but you will have to mention the company codes. I also told you the same thing. Yeah. I'm not going to make any changes. Now, the concept of cost centers. One of the, just like you had your fiscal year variant, you had your posting period variant and all other components completing your company code definition. You have another master data in your, normally I wouldn't call this as a CO master data, but now it has gone to the finance itself. The finance people are responsible for creating the cost centers. Now, what is a cost center? Your individual departments in any organization is defined as a cost center in SAP. Let me have a scenario where you're in a manufacturing concern. You are classifying them as direct departments, indirect. So your direct departments are those departments which are linked directly to your production activities. Understand the difference. Direct departments are those which are involved in the production activities directly. For example, your production department, assembly department, maintenance department, painting department, plating department, assembly department, assembly is there, forging, foundry department, foundry. So all those departments which are directly in connection with your production activities, they are referred to as your direct departments. Now, what could be the examples of your indirect departments? The ones which are not directly connected to your production department, not directly connected with your production activities. Canteen department, finance department, HR department. They are all your indirect departments. I'm not giving them the name cost centers as it. Now, this is exactly what the consultant makes note. He takes care of the requirements of how the customer's organization is divided or is classified. maintenance department. Yeah. So you can see this. So probably he may want to have the same structure in his SAP also. So necessarily, what is the job of a consultant? He does this. First, he knows the definition of cost centers. Clear? Now he takes the requirement of the. So he knows that the definition of a cost center is this, and accordingly he connects the requirement of this particular requirement of the organization and converts them into the cost centers. Each one of the department which you identify in your organization is classified as a cost center. Cost center is nothing but a bucket which accumulates costs. As simple a definition as that. Nothing more. Where you incur expenses. That is all. It is defined as a cost center. Clear? So this is the definition of a cost center. A department where costs are incurred. A place where costs are incurred and collected is referred to as a cost center. Simple definition. No confusions. So how is this achieved in SAP? Now, who creates this? The consultant understands this particular design and creates the same thing in SAP. Where does he create? So you can also see the cost centers in your easy access. But first I will go to SPRO. Now, the thing is, I want to create this structure. I can create the individual cost centers, but you must know that in SAP, everything gets created on something called as your hierarchy. I will tell you what an hierarchy is. Cost center. Where is the master data? Cost centers. Can you see that there is something called as a standard hierarchy? So whatever master data you create in the CO module must be necessarily done on a backbone. There is a structure which has to be created. In this one example, we are creating the structure. Of course, I've already created this. I'm going to show it. But all I wanted you to understand is now see you're coming across a different concept, hierarchy, which you didn't have it in your SAP finance module. Clear? Now, Where did you see the standard hierarchy? General controlling, organization, maintain. You can take the example of 0001 or even your GM0, not a problem. Can you see that there is something called as a cost center standard hierarchy? This is your first node of your structure. This is the first node of the backbone. You have your backbone, right? So this is your first node. This is the starting point. All right. Now, where do you see this? Now I have created the hierarchy. I will straight away go to master data, create cost centers. What is a cost center? In the following section, you know how to create. You have completed activities. So you see that there is no clear definition of a cost center. Note on cost centers. Let me read out the calculation. So the definition is not clear. But as a consultant, you need to have a very, very clear understanding because you are the person who's converting all the raw data into your SAP understandable data. He will simply call it as departments. You should convert it into something called as a cost center. Okay. Now, create cost centers. Create cost center. See, it will ask you for the creation of a cost center. Yeah. So I would want to create a cost center in my controlling area GM01. Now I can create. So I create the individual cost centers here also. I'm not going to create anything. Okay. I'll exit out from the screen. Now, what would have been the first job of a consultant? He doesn't create the cost centers. He creates the structure along with the cost centers. Both the jobs he does. He creates the cost centers with the structure. The end user doesn't create the structure. He creates the cost centers. But the consultant is responsible for creating the structure as well as the cost centers. Clear? Now, so how would the consultant, let me take up the definition of a standard hierarchy. A highest node of the standard hierarchy. But what is a hierarchy? Has he defined that? Okay, he would have gotten a very elaborate way of telling. Let me not spend much time on that. So what is the purpose of me going to this place? I am necessarily defining the cost centers along with this structure. What is the structure? This structure. I'm going to create the first the indirect and the direct cost centers. Under the direct cost centers, I'm going to create these cost centers. Production cost center, assembly cost center, painting cost center, plating cost center, foundry cost center, maintenance cost center, whatever. Standard hierarchy. I've already created. I'm just giving you an example. I'm just showing you the place where the consultant would visit first. Can you see this? So you saw the GM01 CCTR, that was a starting node, had the direct and the indirect cost centers. I have not created anything under the indirect cost centers. Now you see under the direct cost centers, I have the production cost center. Under the production cost center, I have fabrication, bunker, drilling, whatever, painting, assembly, milling, foundry. Can you see this? So let me say under the indirect cost centers, I had to create something called as a canteen. So indirect cost centers, it has got nothing still. Okay, now I would click here, right click and say create group or create cost center. So under the indirect cost center group, I am creating a cost center canteen. See, now I would create executive canteen. Okay, name, user responsible, manager, canteen manager, cost center category. Don't worry. As I said, where did we see the category? In the cost element. Depending on the nature of the behavior of the cost element, we had different cost elements. Here again, based on the behavior of the cost centers, we have different cost center categories, management or service cost, whatever. Okay. Now you see under the indirect, it is still incomplete. I will save this. Can you see this? I will save. It is still in the inactive state. Now just I'll create, save. Can you see? Executive canteen has come under the indirect cost center. See, and it is active. So once it has successfully got created, you get a activation status. So now I can use this in my cost center, in my postings. Clear so far? So where would I enter this canteen? This executive canteen, where would I enter? All right, where would I use this? So I would have to first ensure whether the GL account is a cost element or not. Correct? I would say I would use this. overtime bonuses. Okay, debit. Why did I pick this GL account? Because it had to stop me from posting without a cost center. See, hey, how did it accept? It had to stop me. No? Let me take another cost element. Overtime bonuses, postage, salaries. Okay, I would take this up 416, 410. Can I do that? 416, 410. Debit. Now see, is relevant to tax. Okay, let me push this as tax. Even this is accepting. Okay, I'll do is I can't keep simply wasting time like this. See, 4,30,000 requires an assignment to a valid CO object. Got it? Now I would assign. This is how typically your cost element and your cost center would behave. So this would not go ahead, and this error is in red. So it is a very critical error, and SAP will not move forward until and unless a cost center or any other cost object is given. It could be an internal order, it could be a sales order. Okay. So let me pick it up from cost centers. So you see this executive canteen, I would book it under executive canteen. Now SAP is happy. Now I can post this. So document was posted. So this is the typical way your CO module will behave. Clear? Now, how would the end user define the cost center? He will not have the access to SPR, correct? So he cannot see the structure. Accounting, controlling, cost center accounting, master data, cost center, individual processing, KS01, create. This is exactly where you are creating a cost center. Okay. So let me say non-executive canteen. Okay. I want to create a cost center valid from 01/01/2024. I can take the help of a existing cost center. What is existing cost center? EXCCANTEEN. Controlling area GM0. I can create a non-executive canteen in this way. Enter. I can create as no. Okay. See. Clear? So this is how the end user creates the and he saves. Cost center has been created. So this is how the see the English names, whatever I have given, they are all just for your learning purposes. Normally, all these cost centers are created by a code. Just like your company code was 0001, your controlling area was 0001. Similarly, there is a logic which is being followed in the live SAP projects. So that even the names, they make a lot of sense. All right. So it is not with any canteen, EXE canteen. It is not created like that. Okay. I just gave you these names for you to understand. But normally, if you had seen this, can you see this? The painting department is identified by P001, P002, P003. Something like this would be there for you to identify the cost centers. It is not your ME canteen, EXE canteen. I just gave it to you as an example. That's it. Clear? So it would typically follow some naming conventions like this. Your indirect cost centers could be starting from, say, I00 something, and your direct cost centers may start with D00 something. So like this, some indicator. Yeah, but it will have a logic. It will definitely have a logic. Okay, but this is how your end user creates the cost centers. So what is the next topic? Let us just go through that. Controlling area master data. Cost center. Okay, tomorrow I will take up something very, very interesting. Continuing on the same cost centers, we have some things like profit centers, segments, as some other things which need to be addressed. All right. Now let us take up a few questions, if at all you have any. No questions. Please show controlling an end user. Okay, end user screen. I've already shown that. See, what is an account assignment model? Your account assignment model is also nothing but a template, just like you created your where is that account assignment model? It is also a data entry template, just like your recurring int. To facilitate the end users. Clear? I created something called as GM01 or something. So I brought into that data entry screen where I had to enter the document. Clear? I hope things are going in the right way. Okay. So if at all some things have not been understood, not a problem. You can still ask. We have from tomorrow, we have another 3 days for us to finish off with the course content. Okay. So whatever your questions, how many ever times you want to repeat from the subject perspective, you're most welcome. So we'll just wait for 2 more minutes. And if no other questions, we can wind up the session for today. I hope things are getting, though the understanding could be a little on the heavier side. So now you can see the difference. When I initially started the session, things were looking so very simple. But now if you see how things are getting a little and little complex. I wouldn't necessarily say complex. I would definitely appreciate the subject. So probably you could have found many things to have been repeated or something, but I would still, I think probably by now you would have found all the repetitions to be very, very helpful. How do you find the sessions? How do you, are you enjoying the sessions? Are you learning something? You can put up your views in the Q&A section. See, understanding the topics would definitely take some time. Please do not expect that I have completed the controlling thing and then, to be very honest, this is the basic minimum. I can say that I have not even spoken about the zero model. Okay, so it is that very vast. I have just started. All right. I think Kunal, we can wind up if at all there are no questions.
Yes, sir, sure. Thank you, students, for today's session of SAP. Right now, we are winding up the session and we will meet you tomorrow at 11 again. Thank you, students. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.